Very much, Speaker. I stand today to support the Dangerous Goods Amendment Penalty Reform Bill because at the heart of this important legislation is community and workplace safety. Also, at the heart of this legislation is protection for environment. These issues are very important to me and they're important to the people of Victoria, and I know this legislation is going to look after these little people up here who have joined us in the gallery today by keeping our community safe. And that's what this government's about, making sure that we have a Victoria for the future that looks after everyone and our environment. We are introducing this bill because failure to safely store and transport and dispose of dangerous goods can cause explosions or fires, serious injury, death, large-scale damage, and this is unacceptable. We are amending the Dangerous Goods Act 1985 to increase the penalties for various offences in the Act so that the penalties better reflect the serious nature of these offences and to create a new offence for reckless conduct in respect to dangerous goods that endangers persons and for other purposes. I note that WorkSafe is the relevant authority for the Dangerous Goods Act, and regulation of the dangerous goods falls within the responsibility of the Minister for Workplace Safety. I wish to thank the Minister for presenting the bill to the House and thank everyone who's been involved in advising and drafting of the amendment as well as the consultation process. I would also like to take this opportunity to commend the Minister and for the other work that she's doing, undertaking and making sure that workers in Victoria are safe, that workers come home safe. And I'm particularly proud of our commitment and the work that she's doing around new workplace safety laws, including industrial manslaughter legislation. This will change culture, as will this bill will change the culture of the industries that deal with dangerous goods. At the beginning of the year, this government came out and said we would strengthen the penalties, right? And today, this is what we are delivering on. And by strengthening the penalties under the Dangerous Goods Act, we're tightening the net on those who fail to comply with the law in their management of dangerous goods. And I believe, like my friend, the member for Ringwood, that profit should not ever come before the health and safety of Victorians. And an increase in penalties means that non-compliance cannot be a cost of running businesses. We need to have a really strong deterrent. And the Act, what does the Act actually do? The Act regulates the handling, transport, manufacture, storage, sale and use of substances that are corrosive, flammable, combustible, explosive, oxidising or water reactive or have other hazardous properties. But what are common examples of this? Often you say, well, what is a dangerous good? We're talking about petrol, we're talking about kerosene, we're talking about turpentine. Corrosive, flammable gas, non-flammable toxic gas, asbestos. Of course, we must make sure that the way that we store asbestos, dispose of asbestos, is done safely. And if you do not do it safely, you will be penalised, and you will be penalised big time. These goods are dangerous, and we have seen firsthand the serious consequences of what can occur when dangerous goods are mishandled. I refer to the recent fires across Melbourne, including Tottenham, Campbellfield and Epping. A fire in Campbellfield earlier this year resulted in plumes of black smoke sweeping the skyline, while schools and businesses were forced to shut down. This should not happen. The trauma and stress these events cause our communities is undeniable. Children, and I refer to my good friend from the member for Footscray, having art therapy techniques to overcome the trauma of the fire in Footscray. And to hear the stories of Stony Creek, I love my dog and I love taking Licorice out for a swim at Victoria Park in Ballarat, not Collingwood, and taking him for a swim. For that dog, for those family dogs to be covered in sludge, like just anyone who has a dog to think that their dog could be covered in sludge because of a chemical fire, it just should not happen. And this fire followed two major fires that occurred because of stockpiling of waste in Coolaroo and Campbellfield. And let's be very clear, these fires were caused by the stockpiling of various types of waste, including dangerous goods. The result was that community safety and our environment was put at risk. This is not acceptable to the government and it does not meet with community expectations and standards. These fires should have never occurred and we need to ensure that other fires are prevented from occurring. Because this legislation will have positive impacts on workers, and I'm very proud about that. The Andrews government is steadfast in its approach to workplace safety. We will not tolerate conduct that puts the lives of Victorian workers at risk. Labor governments do not shy away from taking action to protect workers. It is in our DNA. These fires put the lives of first responders at risk, including hundreds of firefighters, as a result of dodgy practices in the mishandling and storage of dangerous goods. Emergency workers were placed at serious risk because companies failed in their responsibility and their duty of care to their workforce. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our first responders for the work that they do, and particularly thank firefighters for the danger that they put themselves in to keep us safe and to protect our environment. Luckily, and I say luck, it was only good luck. It was luckily that no lives were lost in these fires. However, far too many lives were put at risk, and there was substantial damage to property and to the environment. Importantly, this government reacted and WorkSafe reacted, leading a task force to take swift action to remove illegally stored waste from chemicals from warehouses across Melbourne. 13 sites had been identified as requiring clean-up by the task force, and so far 6.8 million litres of dangerous goods have been removed from this site. I can tell you this is welcome news for local communities, for workers and first responders. It's also great news for the environment as we make Victoria safer for everyone. The mishandling of dangerous goods pose a real threat to our community, and those who do it are breaking the law. We're a government that gets on with the job, and we have a clear message: clean up your act or face the consequences. The risk improper practices have on workers every day cannot be understated, and it's crucial that operators take their obligations very seriously. The current penalties need to be increased because the existing penalties imposed for contravention are below that of similar offences under the Occupational Health and Safety Act 2005 and the Crimes Act of 1958. And the set rate presents little deterrence for non-compliance. We need to rectify this, and that's why we're committed to legislation that will provide a strong deterrent to industry by significantly increasing penalties for individuals, but also body corporates, and that's very important. I'm supporting this bill because I firmly believe there is a need for strong compliance with existing regulation and a compelling case for change that deters the mishandling of dangerous goods. So what's this bill actually going to do? It's going to make individuals and organisations more accountable by making amendments that, one, creates that new offence for reckless conduct, right? If you place a person in danger of death, the penalties are going to be very significant. Okay? And we are going to increase those under the Dangerous Good Act to reflect the seriousness of the offending. And I've mentioned it a number of times already, but it's about deterrence, deterring illegal activity and non-compliance with requirements under the Dangerous Goods Act. The new offence means that individuals that recklessly manufacture, store, transport, transfer, sell or use, we've got all bases covered on this, of dangerous goods, who do or may place a person in danger of death will face an individual fine of $627,800 and a body corporate. You cannot hide behind that corporate veil because they will now face up a fine of $6.6 million. Significantly, this offence also carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. This is a great increase on what was previously there, and I am confident we are going to get real cultural change in this industry in terms of the handling. So we're a government that gets the job done, because we don't want to see a repeat of the warehouse fires across Melbourne as a consequence of illegal stockpiling of waste and dangerous good. That is why this bill will introduce new penalties that will bite and will be a serious deterrent for all. I am very proud to recommend the Dangerous Goods Amendment Penalty Reform Bill to the House.